there. He made us that one from basketball.
When he was dunking. So anyway, hey, Hope, we got the final one. You're going to love this. Toilet paper roll angel.
You made it. Do you see your little hands here?
Little hands on the back.
Are the angel wings.
So here we go, on the tree.
Not on a real tree, but on this family tree. Oh, Dad got it on there. Joy to the world.
All right, there you go. I know you're missing your Griswold family. Decorate your house for Christmas. We're thinking of you. Love you, Hope. Bye.
They're scanning our faces in public places, at protests, even at our children's schools. The government is building secret databases they can go through anytime that they feel like it. They're blanketing our neighborhoods with flock cameras, and every single one of you should be saying, "What the flock?" I mean, this is an absolute egregious reach on our Fourth Amendment rights. They're creating a digital footprint of your entire life without a single warrant or even probable cause. Your morning commute to work, it's tracked. Dropping off your kids at their soccer practice, that's logged. Visiting a church or a gun range, recorded forever in a government accessible database.
¡Comieron humanos! ¡Asquerosidad! ¡Comieron humanos! Yo no estaba enterada de nada. Que había, o sea, de los asesinatos sí, pero que habían comido humanos. ¡Humanos! ¡Huele la carne humana!
Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is James Williams, also known as Dark Waters. I've done hundreds of interviews, dare I say, over 500 interviews all over the world. I am a known expert at hunting down lizard people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed any further in this video, I want you to understand something. Although you just saw the changing faces of the lizards, they maintain their human form all the time. It's why they made the movie They Live. The only way we track down these lizards, and you are hunting lizards with me, is we hunt them through the news. We hunt them through their public statements, their podcasts, the things that they say. Today, we go on a short lizard finding mission. It's a very short mission, but we will be successful. And to start off, we're going to start off with their technology, ladies and gentlemen. Their technology. Say it with me. Technology. Their tech knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. Lizard tech knowledge is being rolled out in front of you everywhere you look. Don't believe me? Just watch. Don't believe me? Just watch. Now, if you've been swimming in the dark waters for a while, you were with me 2 years ago when I started to cover this AI going into the vehicles to where you wouldn't be able to drive your vehicle. You were with me when we covered the autonomous vehicles before the Waymos were on the street, before the Tesla taxi hit the street. We were searching through the videos and we found what they were going to do. We're going to talk about what they're doing currently and what they're doing currently and how it affects the future as well. And we're going to do it all in 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. So if you got some patience, you got a little time, I need you to hit the like button. Now, you're not liking me. You hating on lizards. You understand? Because when you hit this like button, you expose these lizards to everybody. So the like ain't about me. You may not like my black behind, but you're going to hit that like button because if not, them lizards going to eat you. Let's go.
Come on. No.
Now imagine there was an emergency outside the truck, an accident, something terrible on the ranch with a chainsaw. And I jump in this truck, But the truck, it won't shift into drive. Why? Because the cameras and sensors inside this cab won't let it shift, because it detects my eyes are big, there's a lot of emotion, there's some panic, and it doesn't feel that I'm fit to drive. Now that's not science fiction, that is happening because Ford just filed the patents. Ford actually has a series of patents down at the US Patent and Trade Office that deal with the sensors and cameras inside the cab of their truck. And if the sensors in that truck determine that you're not fit to drive, that truck will not actually shift from park to drive. Now they already have a system called telematics, and that's where they can actually pull up cameras in real time inside the cab of their fleet vehicles. Now, they actually market this to insurance companies because the truth is, this is really about who owns the data and who owns the liability. Now, your name might actually be on the title of this truck, and you may have paid for it, but you don't own it. Now, Ford didn't file just one patent. They filed a stack of them, all within months of each other. Are you sitting down? Get this. This Ford technology patent doesn't just watch you. This one puts you in jail. Ford filed a patent, serial number 0104469, where the system takes your biometric data, your face, your iris, and your fingerprint, and it runs it through a criminal database in real time. While you're sitting in your own truck, think about what that means. You wake up one morning, you walk out to your driveway, you climb into a vehicle with your name on the title, on property with your name on the deed. And before you go anywhere, before you've done a single thing wrong, your truck is already running your face through a law enforcement database. Ford's own patent language describes this as potentially useful for police. They wrote that. Ford wrote that into the patent application. So the question isn't whether this technology can be abused. Ford already told you who it's for. You just didn't know that you were buying a cop car.
Now, somebody may say to themselves, well, James, I don't have no problem with that. If you're saying that, I'm just going to say this, ladies and gentlemen, you are a lizard collaborator. And I need you to understand there are people who collaborate with the lizards. I'm sorry. Or maybe you're a lizard sympathizer. That's probably a better word to call you a lizard sympathizer. The simple fact that what he's saying right now about their patents lets you know what they're already doing. They already have cameras inside your vehicle. They already have cameras inside your TV. They already take your face on your phone every time you unlock it. They get your facial metadata. Every time I unlock my phone, I watch as my camera triggers. I'm going to lock it, and I unlock it, and then put my code in. And as soon as I do it, the little green button triggers, and you can see where it just is taking a picture of my face. This is part of the lizard technology, and the lizards need to control you. But I'm going to put together two aspects of this for you today to understand why they need to control the vehicles because of what they're getting ready to do to you or what they're in the process of doing to you. Now, before we move forward, I'm going to remind you again to hit the like button. But I need you to get this. So just from this video, which this gentleman shared with us about their patents, what do you think you should be doing with your older vehicles? Do you think you should be trading in your older vehicle? Like, for example, if you got a 2018 Ford F-150. No, hopefully you don't have that because those are terrible. Let's just say you got let's say you got a older Ford. Do you think you should be trading your older Ford in for a newer version? No. What you should be doing is sourcing parts and pieces for your car, because there's going to come a day and time where you'll be one of the only people who can drive around freely without them spying on them. Now, they'll be able to tap into your radio and do all the rest of these different things unless you pull all that stuff out of there. But there's coming a time period where your privacy is going to be more important than your convenience. Your privacy is going to be more important than your safety. And I hate to do it to you, but I need to pull up the King Lizard Prophet and have him speak these things to you. He said, there's going to come a time where the humans will be willing to trade their privacy for their security and their health. So why is all this being put in place? It's all being put in place for the next major event, the next global pandemic. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at what this next event is, it's all encompassing. It's a famine, it's a energy crisis, and it's disease all at the same time. It's all of them. You see, you went through the beta test. The beta test was COVID. Let's see if we can get them to stay in the house and stay locked down. Yes, we got them to do it. What comes next, ladies and gentlemen? Boy, COVID can't wag a stick at this. Here's Thomas Massey talking about Ford, and then we're going to go on to the next thing, which is the food I need you to understand. Also, let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen, so you'll get it. I don't know if you scan Twitter or any news organization, really Twitter, because it's kind of the latest news aggregator, then you see the heavy influence of ChatGTP all over the place. The language patterns of ChatGTP. Just so you'll know, AI has you probably could call it the AI neural linguistic language pattern stack. But I see it all the time. And so what you're witnessing is AI, artificial intelligence, already influencing the emotions of humans, already influencing the narrative of humans by participating or partnering with the human, and probably by just having AI bots just commenting on stuff as is. Like an AI bot that's a form that uses AI to target an individual. You can see it all over the place. Like it's non-human comments. It's just non-human. You can even feel that it's non-human.
It is now in order to consider amendment number 1, printed in Part B of House Report 119-462. For what purpose does the gentleman from Kentucky seek recognition?
Mr. Chair, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk shall designate the amendment.
Amendment number 1, printed in Part B of House Report number 119-462, offered by Mr. Massey of Kentucky.
Pursuant to House Resolution 1014, the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Massey, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Kentucky.
Mr. Chair, I rise in support of our amendment. This is co-sponsored by Mr. Perry from Pennsylvania and Mr. Roy from Texas. And I regret that we have to offer this amendment. What I'm going to describe will probably sound like a bad science fiction movie, but that's what's written into law. Right now in law, that's going to be implemented it says for 2026 and beyond. Now, the reality is the technology doesn't exist, but that doesn't keep legislators from imagining things that they would like to do to infringe on civil liberties. But there is a law that states that every vehicle manufactured is going to have a kill switch in it. The car itself will monitor your driving. And if the car thinks that you're not doing a good job driving, it will disable itself. So the car dashboard becomes your judge, your jury, and your executioner. Imagine this. We got a snowstorm coming. A mom takes her kids out. They're going to the grocery store. It's snowing. They're trying to get some groceries before the big storm hits. She swerves for a pothole. The neighbor's pet gets in the way, swerves for that. A first responder goes by. She pulls over. Her car says, "You got one more swerve, and then we're going to ground you." There it is. The next thing she has to avoid, an icy patch in the road. The car has adjudicated her as unsuitable for driving. It disables the vehicle, and there she's stranded. My question is, how do you appeal your sentence once your car, the technology in your car, has judged you to be incapable of driving? Once it's disabled you and your children at the side of the road, how do you appeal that? Do you press a button on the dashboard? Do you start talking to an AI? What if it really was somebody who was drunk? Are you really going to send a police car after this? Disabled vehicle? Do we have the resources to do that? There's going to be so many false positives. The technology is unworkable. That's why the DOT is still in the rulemaking process, asking for feedback on how this thing could even exist. And it's just a bad idea, but it's in law, and so our amendment would defund that. And with that, I'd like to reserve the balance of my time.
You see, The AI becomes doctor. The AI becomes judge. The AI becomes lawgiver. The AI becomes God. Well, James, what does this have to do with lizard people? You said something about lizard people. I believe that lizard people can peel. They wear human flesh. And I believe that lizard people are live underground. You must ask yourself this one simple question. Who is Peter Thiel, and what is Peter Thiel? Who is Mark Zuckerberg, and what is Mark Zuckerberg? Who is the hidden hand behind all of these recent technological advances being rolled out to people? When I say recent, I mean recent, meaning that you recently know about them, not that they're recently been discovered. They've been around for quite a long time. When we start to answer the question who, WHO, when we ask that question, then we need to go to certain places to get answers to the who's. You heard me? We need to go certain places to get answers to the who's. Hold on. Now, for the next phase, I need to take you over to the World Economic Forum. And I know there's some of you from the World Economic Forum that watch me. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of y'all from the World Economic Forum that watch me. I've been told this. And it's okay that you participated in the event. I'm not necessarily calling you a lizard. You are a lizard sympathizer. Just keep it real with yourself. You sympathize with the people who want to destroy the world because you are in hopes of, and you think that possibly you have a place in the new world. I need you to understand something. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to keep it real with you. They're going to kill you. They hate you just as much as they hate me. In fact, I guarantee you they hate you more than they hate me and everybody else here. But you ain't got to listen. You ain't got to listen to me. But you ain't going to stop me from saying what I got to say. Because I got to say what I got to say. I made an agreement to talk about the things that I'm supposed to talk about. So you on Team Lizard and I'm not on Team Lizard. I hope that God help you. And I hope that he open your eyes and show you that you rolling with the devil. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you understand that they're rolling out technology that's going to stop you and judge you based upon what they have as their arbitrary rules for transportation. This leads into the smart cities where nobody can drive their vehicles anymore. And this also leads to the technology where you have to share a vehicle. We can elaborate more on that, even though I don't think it's necessary because we've done so for a very long time. Now let's talk about controlling your belly. Because they're going to control your movement, but they also going to control your belly. Here, I'm bringing you into a video where it talks about liberating food from the World Economic Forum. I want to show you something as well. Do you notice that only 1,300 people have watched this? So 1,300 people know exactly what the World Economic Forum is plotting, planning, and scheming. But we're in an age where everybody wants to comment and talk about things, and they want to pretend like they know, but nobody's really paying attention. That's why you come here, because we do a deep dive into these things. So I'm going to need you to hit the like button. Watch this. Let's go. Hold on. Let's go through the premise of everything they're saying. I need you to understand, liberating food for them is not about freeing food. When they say liberating food, what they're doing is they have different organizations that are buying food. So when we start talking about food purchases and food procurement, because that's what this is about, the governments are the number one food procurers around the world. Because governments have to procure food for the military, they have to procure food for the educational system, they have to procure food. There's an NGO at a level higher than governments that's procuring food. Now, we all understand about NGOs because we just saw the Southern Poverty Law Center get mollywopped for funding the KKK and all kind of racist organizations, and the Southern Poverty Law Center is an NGO. We all understand that one of the things that Elon Musk was cutting the funding of with Doge was NGOs. NGOs are the globalist banks. They're like the globalist debit cards of the taxpayer dollars. So they like, okay, let me use my Instead of you reaching your wallet and you pull out a Visa debit card. No. They reach in their wallet and they pull out a debit card that's based on an NGO, and the funds are tied to taxpayer dollars. So it could be Big Booty Latinas NGO and they swipe their card. It could be Skinny Leg Latinas NGO and they swipe their card. You see what I'm saying? For those who don't know, non-government organization is an NGO. A nonprofit is a form of an NGO. All right, we all on the same page? Did I go too far? Hopefully I didn't go too far. Now let's go into the facts of what these people talking about. All right, I hope you're ready. Now, just so you understand, real quickly, when you procure food, the types of food that you procure end up creating the diet for everybody else. So the biggest food buyer who has the most money to buy food, if they say, oh, we're not buying chickens anymore, then people start producing chickens, even though that's not going to happen because there's enough chicken buyers. But they can curate your food that goes into grocery stores and goes into colleges and governments based upon their buying power. Understand this. Curate your food based upon their buying power because the largest buyer dictates the marketplace. All right, here we go. Let's let the lizards speak for themselves. Don't believe me, just watch.
In the flour of maize that people eat every day, the other reason is to balance out the fluctuation of the price of the markets in the maize. So policy is powerful. Policy powerful to create a market. So if you bring those neglected and reticulized species, and I have been to many farmers that did farm them, but they have no access to market. Exactly. Because people do not demand them, and the policy or the country haven't created that. The other point, it's policy and public procurement. The biggest buyer of food is WFP worldwide. All national system procure food, but we don't use the public procurement to push for nutrition or push for diversification.
All right, because this lizard is talking in that other language, it's real hard to hear what she said. She said the largest public buyer of food is WFP, the World Food Program, which is attached to the World Economic Forum. But she said, but we don't use the purchase to push for nutrition, nor do we use the purchase to push for diversification. So what you saying, you push it for a trick? But you buy it for a trick, huh? Let me let her say it again. I'm gonna rewind it. Say it again. You tough. Say it again. I'm gonna turn on the captions. Maybe the captions will help you understand how lizard language.
I've been to many farmers that did farm them, but they have no access to market. Exactly. Because people do not demand them, and the policy or the country haven't created that. The other point, it's policy and public procurement. The biggest buyer of food is WFP worldwide. All national system procure food, but we don't use the public procurement to push for nutrition or push for diversification. And it's a must. It's almost we know, but we don't do it. And it bears the question, and most probably there's a lot of explanation for that we all know, geopolitically, lobbying, and what have you. So I think if we use those two instruments, not only we are serving the environment and the ecosystem, because as Alice said, those crops are native, like the cassava is very important, the fonio is very important, and so on and so forth. They are better for the ecosystem, but also we have a better adaptation. As the weather is changing, those species have been there for millions of years. I like very much to bring few numbers. In planet Earth, we have 500,000 species of plant, 500,000.
Okay, stop. Because it's very hard to understand what this lizard's saying. Put your finger in the air like this if you're having trouble hearing the lizard. And I'm going to tell you what you do. Lick your finger like that, stick it in your ear like this, and then you can understand lizard language. I know you don't believe me, but if you think your person's a lizard person, you think your wife a lizard person, lick your finger, stick your finger in the ear and do like this, and she going to go, that means she a lizard. I do it to my wife all the time. Like, come here, lizard. Come here, lizard. Here's what the lizard person is saying. Starting backwards. She's saying there's 500,000 species of plants on this planet that we haven't tapped into And because WFP is the world's largest buyer, what they want to do is they want to change and shift your diet towards a plant-based diet. Remember, the whole lizard person's thing is you can't have protein as humans, and you can only eat damn plants. It's long been said. Going back to the procurement phase of it, what she was talking about with procurement is, through procurement, we're not focused on nutrition and we're not focused on, what the hell did the lizard say? Let me rewind it. We're not focused on procurement. We're not focused on diversification. And nutrition and diversification. So what she's saying is, as the largest buyer, what we can focus on is how to shift nutrition in the direction that we want, and how how diversification shifts that nutrition. Give you a perfect example and why they're doing this. You see, when the governments let all the people from all over the world come into your nation, like, for example, America, where I'm at, the America the beautiful. See how they let all them damn people from all over the planet come in here? See, now those people want their food from their hometown. They want their kava. They want whatever the hell they like. So now they like, we need to procure food in the educational system to suit the people who are in America, because America's face is changing and it's more diverse. So now we need to procure foods to go into public school systems that the people from Africa like, and the people from, I don't know, South Africa like, or wherever the hell they like. And therefore changing the diets of the American people. But they're using those illegal aliens, those invaders, they're using them as a cover to ram this down everybody's throat. The same way they just use the illegal alien truck drivers that they gave license to, who can't read, to drive down the road and slam in other people's cars and kill them. The same reason why they're using them as a justification for now needing AI trucks to be driving on the roads. I mean, it's the same thing over. It's create the problem, solve the problem, right? Let's keep on going. Ain't nothing worse than a damn lizard.
Out of them, historically, we know that 30,000 are edible, and it has been documented through history. 7,000 of them, if you go, have been produced, but right now in the market we have only 125 species that are in the market. So we are leaving 500,000 and we are focusing on 125. If you bring anybody outside planet and you tell them those numbers, say, you are crazy guys, why you are? But it's the economy of scale, is the economic system that we are working on, it's the policies, it's the globalization, it's the monoculture, and so on and so forth.
Sure. I'm going to throw it to the audience as well. Do you have a comment before I do? You're okay right now? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rumaitha and I come from Oman. My main work is really engrossed in implementing the country's green hydrogen strategy. And in the Gulf and a lot of, including Morocco, countries that are really gunning on the energy transition, we're hearing a lot of conversations on energy and water, but food is kind of removed from the conversation mostly. So how do we ensure that we're able to kind of have a conversation where things are not in silo? Because food is a major component, and I serve on the Global Future Council on Energy Nexus, and this is where we're seeing a lot of the conversation missing, because we're seeing that energy, water, and food are mostly discussed separately rather than together.
So it's a question on collaboration. Any takers on that and how it can be strengthened?
I have one word on that one,
sure.
Solar irrigation. Because we're seeing that growing now. I was just in Mali, and I saw that, the adoption of solar irrigation is really growing. So there you have the same land where you have your food, producing your food, you're doing irrigation with solar. So there's already an energy food nexus there. But others probably want to add.
I was going to say exactly the same.
Yes.
Our farm in Egypt, we have 20 megawatts of solar. Mm-hmm. In Romania, we're about to install the same amount to use solar energy to drive our irrigation systems and the rest what we have on the farm. And of course, food and water. Without water, you can't grow food. So I indeed believe they do go together. And there's another interaction which is very relevant, especially in countries like Brazil, but probably the US as well, where there's a sort of a competition or an interchange between food, feed, and fuel. A lot of bioethanol or other sugarcane grown for energy usage. So that
shut up,
competition is all
lizards.
there.
Stop it.
While we
shut up, lizards. Shut up, lizards. Because y'all, this is the problem with these lizards, man. They have this hypnotic ability. Even the African lizards, you know, even the African lizards have this hypnotic ability to just be like, and their words just turn to ba 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 boo 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 baby boo boo ba. And next thing you know, you're in a trance, and then you miss what the lizard is saying to you. The very first lizard in the audience posed the question about the disconnect between food, energy, and water. But the disconnect between the food, energy, and the water is done on purpose. The lizards already told us this. Hold on. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Hey, hey, hey. I hope you understand you're going into a system where these people plan on charging you for everything. Right now, everybody's freaking out about the flock cameras, and how the flock cameras are owned by private corporations that are everywhere, that are watching you, and you know, they're tracking you with facial recognition technology. You are already into the beast system at this point in time. I just want you to know this. You're already into the beast system. You know what I'm saying? You already like walked into the door. Like if the beast system had a front door and the door was open, everybody's already been herded into it. We just ain't got to the point to where you've been given the option to take the mark of the beast. But it's important to understand what these people are doing.
When we talk about capital, we tend to think only about financial capital, about cash, financial assets, but we know that's not the only value on which our economies depend. We know that every aspect of every part of the economy is fundamentally dependent on nature, as you highlighted. The air that we breathe, the water we drink, the soil, the oceans that we need for the food that we need to consume, the minerals that we need as inputs to technology and to infrastructure. And without these forms of value, these forms of natural capital, we won't have economies. They are the fundamental building blocks of our economies. But the ways, as you said, the ways in which we have grown our economies, our models of economic development, have been incredibly successful for global prosperity. But the unintended consequences of the current models of growth are simply not sustainable on a finite planet. The amount of resource that we are drawing into our economies, Earth's resources, and the amount of pollution and waste that we're pumping out, whether that's through greenhouse gas emissions, whether that's sewage into our water, whether it's plastics into the ocean, is beyond the Earth's carrying capacity. And we know that that's leading, as you said, to very significant direct impacts for society, but very significant financial costs for the economy. We can look at that as you have and calculate that at a macro level. But the way that that's showing up as we're breaching these boundaries and breaching these limits and undermining nature is showing up in very practical ways that are showing up for financial risk for institutions. Lack of water is leading to disruption of operations, of supply chains where water is needed as an essential input for manufacturing or power.
Now, I'm sorry, guys. You got to stick with me because it's lizard language. You notice how it's like a blah, 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 a blah, 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 blah. Let me help you. Let me tell you what I do when they do the lizard language. In my mind, I say, screw this damn lizard. I'm going to get this lizard. Imagine having a lizard by the tail and you're holding it up and you're lighting, got a lighter and you're burning a lizard. That's what you got to do. You got to imagine that while they're talking. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. And then they're going to get to the point. The point you just said was there's water shortages coming where people don't have enough water. Now understand this was 2 years ago. Now we have water shortages because of data centers. So the problem was created, the water shortage problem is created because of data centers taking water, because they know there's water inside of the earth. The Bible talks about the waters in the sky, the waters on top of the earth, and the waters inside of the earth. Everybody knows this, that anyway. So now they're taking the waters inside of the earth, which are called aquifers, by the way, and they're draining them, the waters, so they can run their data centers. Some straight up matrix type BS. Right? This is what you're walking into. But years ago, And just to verify, let's go back and see what was on the sign, because they normally put their dates on these. You can almost see it on the side of the stage. There it is, World Economic 2024. So we're in 2026. And so 2 years ago, they were talking about this problem with water being the issue, the way they're going to need to charge for water. The reason why is because they created the issue, the problem of water. They created the shortage. Here's another one. I'm not sure what the hell this thing is, because this I'm not sure this is even a woman. I'm not sure what the hell this thing is.
And globally, did we solve that? Like, did we actually manage to vaccinate everyone in the world? No. So highlighting water as a global commons and what it means to work together and see it both out of that kind of global commons perspective, but also the self-interest perspective, because it does have that parallel. It's not only important, but it's also important because we haven't managed to solve those problems which had similar attributes. And water is something that people understand. You know, climate change is a bit abstract. Some people understand it really well. Some understand it a bit. Some just don't understand it. Water, every kid knows how important it is to have water. When you're playing football and you're thirsty, you need water. So there's also something about really getting citizen engagement around this and really, in some ways, experimenting with this notion of the common good. Can we actually deliver this time in ways that we have failed miserably, and globally?
Anytime you hear these lizards talking about the common good, they're talking about the common good of the lizard people, the elitists, not your damn common good. Last thing I'm gonna say, this video's gone over. People gonna ask my opinion because they always say, "What you think about the president shooting at the president?" I want you to understand this. I'm moving back to covering the stuff that I used to cover, which is this kind of stuff in depth. And the reason being is because when I look at the events from a 1,000,000-foot point of view, especially with the president, and I support the president, to be clear with you, but I've said this, when you have someone who has an anointing the way he has, which is an anointing to dethrone enemies, you have to bubble wrap or kind of like put a bull ring in an individual's nose and pull him in a direction to get him to point the weapon at other people. Unfortunately, what I'm starting to see is somehow at a very high level, someone has gotten to the point to where they have this understanding where you don't even have to fully control that anointing. You just have to create events around it that are big enough distractions to where you can get your agenda done. So, for example, the shooting at the dude that ran through to try and shoot him, which ain't nobody about to assassinate the dude, I can tell you that. But the dude that ran through to try and shoot him, right? If you notice, the dude runs through, tries to shoot the president, gets arrested, don't get killed, which don't make no sense to me at all. And simultaneously, while all that's going on, is when this Flocka stuff, the Flocka camera stuff, is being debated the next day. So the news is not the cameras. The news is the fact that this dude tried to shoot the president because today's Monday is the start of the news day, right? And there are all these distractions that are there. I know you can sense it and feel it. I sense it and feel it. The problem is Donald Trump was never a part of the distractions. Like, he never actively participated in being a distraction. And what bothers me now is now you're actively participating in being one of the distractions with posts and this and this. And so it's cluttering it to a place to where you got to back out even higher because there's this new player on the table that's making more distractions. And so I'm looking to see what the hell is going on because something big is happening. Massive is happening. I told you guys May 17th is a very important day for this nation, 250th anniversary. It needs to be dedicated to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If we can't get that done, then trust me, I'm gonna spaz out. You're not gonna like the things I got to say if that go the wrong way. Yeah, you think Alex Jones be on attack mode? Oh, I'm going bulldog crazy. If that don't go the way it's supposed to go, it don't matter. None of that, I'm telling you, that don't go the way it's supposed to go, nothing even matter. So you might as well cancel Christmas. But we're going back into the hardcore stuff because see all this lightweight daily event stuff? It's like you being pulled into that. And we don't get pulled by our nose. You can feel this every day. Whoosh, it's like a tide that goes in and a tide that goes in, tide that goes out. I don't play that. We don't play that. I don't lead you down the wide path. We go down a narrow path because that's where the truth is. And everybody's being sucked in to the wide path. And you add the AI in, you add all this other stuff, and you can feel it. You can sense it. You know it's danger, but you gotta figure out where the danger is coming from. And I just submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that the danger that's coming is the whole beast system. The head of the beast has risen up and it's activated and it's moving. And it's pushing events behind the scenes. Don't get me wrong, there's still a war going on. There's still a war against the globalists and all the rest of that. But as it pertains to the internet, it's been injected fully into the internet. It's active on the net and you can sense it. So now you have to have a little discernment on which rabbit holes you run down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only James Williams, Dark Waters. I need y'all to hit that Lizike button. So we can get the views up and do what we need to do. As you know, they like to shadow ban your boy. They've been doing it for a long time, but we have defeated their bans in the past, and we shall defeat them again. If we collaborate together and I can get your help, it shall be done. Without you, it won't be done, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, by the way, we're still in the middle of our 7-day Keep Watching the Waters t-shirt giveaway. You're going to find the link in the description at the top. Click the link, go over there, sign up. You're going to get your shirt. Matter of fact, in a few minutes, I got to go to the doctor to get some for these sinuses. When I come back from the doctor getting some sinus medicine, because I need some real medicine, because I'm tired of my damn nose going, I'm going to give away the first t-shirt. I'm going to give away the first t-shirt. Yeah, boy. Don't believe me, just watch. I'm going to be right back. Don't believe me, just watch. But in the comments, you can sign up. All you're going to do is put your name and your email address. You're going to get your free shirt. Yeah. 20 of them, 7 days. You heard me? Deuces.